Hey everyone, welcome to Anime Octopus. I'm thrilled to have you here. Today, we're diving into an exciting fanfic discussion. What if Naruko saved Universe 7? Part 2. Before we jump in, a quick disclaimer, all content on this channel is for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any of the anime footage used, full credit goes to the original creators and copyright holders. Let's get started. Naruko woke up in her cozy apartment with Hinata snuggling against her. She stirred, blinking sleepily at the gentle morning light. She felt a little nervous remembering the playful scolding Hinata had given her the day before. Hinata stirred and whispered softly, "Good morning, Naruko." "Gee, good morning, Hinata-chan," Naruko replied, still a little embarrassed about yesterday, though she knew Hinata had been right to correct her. "I'm sorry for being so strict yesterday, Naruko," Hinata said with a small smile. "But maybe it was needed?" "Yeah, I guess you're right," Naruko admitted with a grin. Hinata brightened. "How about I make breakfast to make it up to you?" Naruko's eyes lit up. "Okay." They both got ready, showered, and dressed. Hinata headed into the kitchen while Naruko followed, and soon the apartment smelled like warm pancakes, scrambled eggs, sausage, and fresh orange juice. They laughed as they set the table, enjoying the calm morning together. After breakfast, they left for the academy for team placements. When Naruko entered the classroom, heads turned. People were surprised to see her, they had assumed she hadn't passed. Her spiky blonde hair, black shirt, and short gray jacket made her look both tired and determined, and she wore her forehead protector proudly around her arm. "Naruko, what are you doing here?" a boy with a pineapple-style haircut asked, looking surprised. "I did pass. Didn't you notice my headband?" Naruko said with a confident smile. "Troublesome," the boy muttered, sinking back into his seat. "Excuse me," another boy with a gray hoodie and playful red fang-shaped markings on his cheeks asked, "Why are you two walking together?" Hinata answered cheerfully, "Well, we're dating now." The classroom went silent for a moment, then erupted into whispers. Suddenly, a boy with brown hair, sunglasses, and a gray sweater shouted, "Finally! It's about time!" Everyone froze in shock. Even Shino, usually so calm and stoic, had blushed. Naruko, still smiling, turned to the boy. "You knew about this?" "Everyone knew," replied Uchiha Sasuke, sitting quietly with his trademark cool expression. "Really?" Naruko asked, surprised. The whole class, including new students Yamanaka Ino with her long blonde hair and Haruno Sakura with pink hair and a red dress, nodded. Just then, Iruka walked in. "Everyone, take your seats. It's time for team placements." The students listened eagerly as the teams were announced. "Team 7 is special," Iruka began. "It includes Uzumaki Naruko, Hyuga Hinata, Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke. Your senseis will be Hatake Kakashi and Mitarashi Anko." The room buzzed with whispers. Many girls were disappointed to not be on Sasuke's team, except Sakura, who clapped with joy. Team 8 and Team 10 were introduced, and the students settled in. Suddenly, a purple and tan blur crashed through the window, shattering the glass. A young woman with spiky purple hair landed in the center of the classroom. "I'm Mitarashi Anko. Team 7, meet me on the roof," she announced dramatically before disappearing in a flash. Naruko, Hinata, Sasuke, and Sakura quickly followed her. On the roof, Anko explained, "Kakashi is always late except for higher rank missions. We have 3 hours to kill. What should we do?" Naruko grinned and pulled out a deck of cards. She made a few hand signs, and with a pop of light, 3 of her clones appeared. "Go back to the apartment and grab my prank supplies. Kakashi won't know what hit him." The clones saluted and dashed off. Sasuke and Sakura raised an eyebrow at Naruko's clever clones, but soon they all joined in a fun game of poker. They laughed, teased each other, and enjoyed the sunny afternoon. 3 hours later, Kakashi finally arrived, tripping over a small prank Naruko had set. He fell face first into orange paint, which triggered more buckets of paint to cascade over him, leaving him looking colorful and ridiculous. Naruko and Anko collapsed in laughter, Hinata and Sakura giggled, and even Sasuke, who usually never showed his amusement, laughed so hard that everyone stopped to watch. Finally, Kakashi, standing in the mess, sighed. "My first impression? I already hate all of you," he said, trying to keep a straight face. The team laughed again. Despite the chaos, Naruko felt happy. She had her friends, her new team, and endless adventures ahead. Kakashi suggested introductions, and one by one, Each member shared their name, hobbies, and dreams. Naruko felt excited to learn more about everyone, knowing this was only the beginning of a bright and exciting journey. Guess I'm next, Anko started. My name is Mitarashi Anko. I like dengo, red bean soup, snakes, and tea. My dislikes include a certain snake and spicy food. My hobbies include conducting tea ceremonies and handling paperwork at the T&I department. My goals for the future. Well, there's a certain creature I hope to outsmart one day, she said. Pepto-Bismol, you're up. She pointed at Sakura, who looked a little annoyed at the nickname. My name is Haruno Sakura. My likes are. She glanced at Sasuke. My dislikes are Ino Pig and Naruto Baka. At that, Naruko cut her off. Yeah. I could care less, Naruko said nonchalantly. Everyone, except Hinata, blinked in surprise. But then they remembered, she was dating Hinata now. My hobbies include. Naruko looked at Sasuke. And my goal for the future. Another glance at Sasuke. Everyone had the same thought. Great, a fangirl. Wonderful. They all thought sarcastically. Okay. Lord Emo, you're up, Anko said to Sasuke, who grunted in annoyance at the nickname. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I like very few things and dislike most things. I have no hobbies, and my dream. Well, it isn't a dream because I will make it a reality. My goal is to restore my clan and confront a certain person, Sasuke said in his trademark serious tone. Everyone quietly reflected on what he said. Goody, he's on a revenge streak. I'll have to try to guide him differently. Kakashi thought. Sasuke-kun is so cool. Sakura thought. Am I going to be the only normal one here? Hinata wondered. Geez. Who made her so serious? Naruko muttered to herself. Well said, Mr. Unicorns and Sunflowers, Anko mused. Blondie, go. She turned to Naruko, who stepped forward confidently. My name is Uzumaki Naruko. I like Hinata-chan, she said, blushing. Ramen, and training. My dislikes are people who can't tell the difference between a kunai and the scroll it's sealed in, and vegetables. My hobbies are training with Hinata-chan and gardening. My goal for the future is to honor my family's legacies and become Hokage. Everyone, except Hinata, was surprised. She wasn't shocked, because she knew Naruko well, and Naruko's quiet confidence matched the hidden strength she had seen firsthand. Sakura and Sasuke were curious about the three legacies but said nothing. Kakashi and Anko were stunned to learn about her special heritage, though Kakashi had suspected. Anko facepalmed at not noticing sooner. Well done. Lastly, Princess, you're up, Anko said to Hinata. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like Naruko-kun and cinnamon buns. My dislikes are ignorant people and the caged bird seal. My hobbies include being with Naruko-kun and training with her. My goal for the future is to unite my clan, prove myself to the village, and start a family with a certain someone, Hinata said, shyly glancing at Naruko. Naruko blushed, and everyone else was taken aback. Was this the same shy Hinata from the academy? Well, Anko and I are your senseis, if you can pass our test, Kakashi said. Wait, what test? We already passed the academy exam, Sakura asked, puzzled. That test only checked if you had potential. This one determines if you can officially become Genin. Meet us at Training Ground 7 tomorrow at 6 a.m. And I'd advise skipping breakfast, you might throw up, Kakashi said, then disappeared. Anko followed, leaving the team to head home. Naruko and Hinata went together, while Sasuke left, trailed by a fawning Sakura. The next day, Naruko and Hinata arrived at Training Ground 13, a forest clearing with a sparkling waterfall. Hinata focused on her exercises while Naruko created 500 clones. 100 practiced tree climbing, 200 trained at the waterfall, and the remaining 200 perfected taijutsu katas. The original Naruko honed her Deva Path powers, mastering Shinra Tensei, Almighty Push, and Banshu Tenin, Universal Pull. Hinata refined her gentle fist techniques and improved her chakra control during tree climbing exercises. After 2 hours, Naruko's clones had perfected the movements and started practicing jutsu. They trained for 5 more hours, and Naruko mastered 3 paths and 6 wind jutsu. Wind style, Gale Palm, C rank. Wind style, Wind Spear, B rank. Wind style, Great Breakthrough, C rank. Wind style, Wind Ball Jutsu, B rank. Wind style, Wind Hammer, B rank. Wind style, Wind Star Jutsu, A rank. Hinata perfected her taijutsu and smoothed out the kinks in her chakra control. After training, they went home, ate dinner, and fell asleep together, ready for the test that awaited them the next day. Naruko and Hinata awoke at 4 o'clock in the morning. The soft light of dawn was just beginning to peek through the window, painting the room in gentle gold. They quietly showered, and after a small, simple breakfast, they gathered their gear and stepped outside. Today was special. They were going to prepare for their Jinan test, and they wanted to make sure they had the right equipment. With a little more access to her parents' money, Naruko felt excited to explore options beyond just the basics. They walked through the quiet streets of the village until they reached a local shop called Kenzoku Tora, which meant the Metal Tiger. As they pushed the door open, a warm bell chimed. Behind the counter stood someone Hinata recognized immediately, her cousin's teammate, Ten. She wore a pink blouse with dark green pants, and her brown hair was tied into neat twin buns, with 2 soft strands framing her face. Ten worked part-time at her father's weapon shop, and she always had a cheerful presence. "Welcome to Kenzoku Tora. How can I Hinata? What are you doing here?" Ten asked, her eyes lighting up in recognition. "Oh, Naruko and I are getting some gear for our Jinan test," Hinata explained with a smile. Ten glanced around and noticed Naruko standing next to Hinata. "Oh, well then, feel free to look. Wait, who's this with you?" "That would be me," Naruko spoke up, a little shy but cheerful. Ten's gaze flicked between Hinata and Naruko, and then she raised an eyebrow. "Your partner?" Hinata nodded. "Okay, Naruko, can I have a word with you?" she asked. Naruko nodded, following Ten to the other side of the store. Ten's expression became serious, though her tone was calm. "Listen, Naruko. I consider Hinata a friend. If you ever do anything to hurt her, I promise you'll regret it." To emphasize her point, she spun a kunai between her fingers. Naruko gulped, her eyes wide. "See crystal clear," she stammered. Ten's serious look melted into a bright smile. "Good. Now let's get you both some new gear." Naruko felt a little relieved, though the sudden shift in mood made her giggle nervously. The 2 girls wandered the aisles, looking at weapons and armor. But soon, their eyes were caught by some clothing on a nearby rack. Hinata's attention was drawn to a sleek set of black onbu-style pants, a fitted black shirt, and a purple jacket with a hood. Naruko's eyes sparkled when she spotted a unique outfit: black pants with an orange stripe down the legs, a long-sleeved black shirt, and orange and black fingerless gloves. Over it all was a short-sleeved black coat with orange flames licking up the edges and a swirling red and yellow pattern on the back, complete with a hood. It felt almost magical, as if the clothes had been made just for her. They each tried on their new outfits and felt an exciting sense of readiness, as though stepping into these clothes made them stronger and braver. Once dressed, they moved on to the weapons section. Hinata chose a pair of sei with purple handles, while Naruko picked out a stunning katana. The blade gleamed like silver in the morning light, and the handle was wrapped in black and white cords that intertwined like dancing snakes. It felt perfectly balanced in her hands. With their gear ready, the 2 friends left Kenzoku Tora, hearts full of excitement and determination. The morning air felt fresh and bright, and they knew that today's adventure was just the beginning of many more to come. They bought their equipment and headed to the training grounds. When they arrived, it was 6 o'clock, and Sasuke and Sakura had also arrived. Sasuke and Sakura looked a little tired and were holding their stomachs, but they couldn't help noticing Naruko's new outfit. It was bright and cheerful, and it made her seem even more energetic. Everyone remembered Anko's warning about Kakashi being late. It was going to be a long 3 hours. Naruko decided to send her clones to scout the area while she practiced a little with her new sword. Hinata did the same with her sei. They weren't ready for real combat yet, but it was good to get a feel for their new tools. Sasuke did some light training on his own while Sakura watched him, clearly impressed. After 3 hours, Anko and Kakashi arrived in a swirl of leaves. "Sorry we're late. We got lost on the road of life," Kakashi said casually. Everyone except Kakashi and Anko raised an eyebrow in confusion. Kakashi held up 2 bells and tossed one to Anko, who caught it smoothly. "Okay," Kakashi said, "your test is to get these bells from Anko and me. Anyone without a bell goes back to the academy. Any questions?" "But sensei," Sakura piped up, "there are only 2 bells." "Good observation, Pinky," Anko replied with a smirk. "That just means 2 of you will be sent back to the academy." The Jinan gasped. Naruko's thoughts raced. If I don't get a bell, I won't get to show everyone I can do this. Sakura thought, if I fail, Sasuke-kun might leave without me. Sasuke worried, if I don't win, I won't be able to prove myself. Hinata's mind focused on Naruko. If Naruko doesn't get a bell, she won't reach her dreams of becoming Hokage. Everyone squared their shoulders and looked at Kakashi and Anko with determination. Kakashi pulled out an alarm clock and 2 boxes of lunch. "You have until noon to get a bell," he said. "No bell, no lunch." The stomachs of Sakura and Sasuke growled at once. Kakashi set the alarm, and with a dramatic clap, announced, "Your test starts now." The Genin scattered while Anko slipped into a different part of the training ground. Kakashi stayed where he was, calm and unreadable. Hinata ran toward a hiding spot but stopped mid-step. How could fresh Genin possibly take on 1 Jonin, let alone 2? She thought. A team of 4 with 2 sensais. This isn't just a test of skill. They want to see if we can work together without turning on each other. Suddenly, she heard a loud thump. A flash of pink hit a tree. Hinata hurried over to check and saw Sakura resting against the trunk, clearly knocked off balance. Emerging from the shadows was the snake mistress herself, Mitarashi Anko. Well, looks like the princess wants to play," Anko said, her smile sly. "Step aside so I can finish the pink harpy over there." "Not happening," Hinata said, stepping forward into her Jukin stance. "Why help her? You two aren't even friends," Anko said. "She's my comrade." "That's enough," Hinata replied firmly. Anko grinned. "Fine then, princess. Let's dance." Anko swung toward Hinata with a strong strike, but Hinata ducked and activated her Byakugan. She moved gracefully, striking a chakra point on Anko's leg, then flipped over the kick, landing with poise. Hinata swept with her leg, but Anko leapt over it, twisting midair and aiming a hammer fist. Hinata bent to the side, then spun, her palm pressing another chakra point on Anko's chest. Anko staggered but quickly regained her footing. Naruko, who had been watching from a safe distance, smiled with admiration. Hinata sees what's really important, helping each other. That's the way to win this test, not just skill, but heart. The morning continued with light-hearted strategy and teamwork. Naruko tested her sword moves, and even though the fights were tricky, everyone was learning together. By the end, they weren't just stronger, they were friends who could rely on each other, and that was the real victory of the day. "Not bad, princess, but I'm about to step it up." Anko went through hand seals, snake tiger. Sin Ayashu. Striking shadow snakes. From beneath Anko's sleeves, magical snakes slithered out. Hinata bent gracefully to the left to avoid one, then jumped over another. As she twirled in the air, 2 more snakes lunged toward her. Hinata spun with precision, striking one snake with a quick axe kick and sending the other away with a strong palm strike. Then she noticed a snake rushing toward Sakura. Without hesitation, Hinata flung a shuriken. The snake darted back toward its master, leaving the girl safe, for now. Hinata landed lightly on the ground and sprinted toward Anko. But Anko had already tossed a bell into the air and followed it with a shuriken aimed at Sakura. Hinata faced a choice, catch the bell or protect her friend. She acted quickly, throwing a kunai to block the shuriken. Anko, seizing the moment, snatched the bell midair and leapt into the forest. Hinata turned to Sakura, gently shaking her awake. "Sakura, wake up." Sakura blinked, still groggy. "Hinata? What happened?" "Anko knocked you out and challenged me. I realized the true meaning of the test, it's about teamwork. We all need to work together," Hinata explained. "What makes you so sure?" Sakura asked, her curiosity piqued. "Think about it," Hinata said. "If we're a team of 4 with 2 sensais, and they wanted to separate us, they would have split us evenly from the start. 2 Genin with 2 sensais would be too unbalanced. And do you really think fresh out of the academy Genin could beat 1 Jonin, let alone 2? Sakura paused, thinking. Then it clicked. Hinata was right. "We have to tell Sasuke-kun and Naruko," Sakura exclaimed. Hinata nodded, and the two set off to find their friends. From the shadows, Anko watched, smiling. The girls understood the lesson, but that didn't mean she wouldn't enjoy teasing them a bit along the way. On the other side of the training grounds, Kakashi waited, reading quietly for any sign of action. Sasuke and Naruko exchanged glances and decided to move at the same moment. Naruko darted forward, throwing a swift punch toward Kakashi's head. Kakashi ducked smoothly, never breaking his concentration on the orange book in his hand. Sasuke jumped in from the side, aiming a powerful kick, but Kakashi caught his leg with one hand while continuing to read. With a flick, he sent Sasuke tumbling gently into Naruko, who caught him with ease. Sasuke quickly pushed away and charged again, launching a flurry of punches. Kakashi finally set his book aside, dodging each blow with practiced grace. Sasuke leapt for a punch, but Kakashi bent just in time, only to find Naruko sliding behind him, tripping him slightly. Kakashi landed with a soft thud and quickly regained his balance. "You two aren't bad," Kakashi said with a smile, "but let's see your ninjutsu." Naruko grinned, forming hand seals. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 30 clones appeared, rushing Kakashi in perfect coordination. Kakashi nimbly dodged and leapt, avoiding 5 clones at once. Meanwhile, Sasuke began forming his own hand seals. Kakashi recognized the signs and mirrored him: tiger, monkey, boar, horse, tiger. Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Fire style, fireball jutsu. 2 enormous fireballs shot toward each other, colliding in the air. Neither fireball gave way, dancing in a brilliant display of light and heat. Naruko wasn't about to be left out. She clasped her hands and executed a powerful technique: tiger, ox, dog, rabbit, snake. Futon, Daitapa. Wind style, great breakthrough. A strong gust of wind surged forward, pushing against Sasuke's fireball and strengthening the force. Kakashi realized the fireball would overpower him, so he leapt away gracefully and prepared to counterattack. Sasuke unleashed a flurry of smaller fireballs, like sparkling phoenix flowers, forcing Kakashi to dodge carefully. Through all this, Naruko and Sasuke worked together, learning to time their moves and adjust their power. It wasn't about winning or losing, it was about balance, timing, and friendship. Kakashi, impressed, smiled beneath his mask, knowing the team was learning exactly what he hoped they would: the joy and magic of working together. Naruko decided to try a clever strategy during the training exercise against Kakashi. She created 5 playful shadow clones and activated her sparkling Rinnegan eyes in both herself and the clones. The first clone reached out a hand towards Kakashi. "Banshu Tenin. Universal pull," she shouted, and Kakashi felt himself being gently pulled forward by an invisible force. Just as he floated toward the clone, another clone appeared and gave a light, friendly tap on Kakashi's back, sending him spinning in a silly little circle. The first clone released the technique just in time, while a third clone bounced in and gave Kakashi a quick pat on the shoulder, making him wobble. The fourth clone did a playful jump and lightly tapped Kakashi's head with a soft palm, and the fifth clone floated above him, gently guiding him down toward the ground with a slow hammer motion that looked more like a careful landing than a strike. The original Naruko held out her hand to Kakashi. "Banshu Tenin," she whispered, and Kakashi drifted toward her open hand. She was just about to grab the bells from behind him when Sasuke swooped in, nudging Kakashi playfully into a soft patch of leaves. "Hey! I almost had them," Naruko exclaimed, pouting in mock frustration. "Please, Naruko, you can't be serious." "That bell is mine," Sasuke said, grinning. "But, thanks for setting him up for my victory." Sasuke then noticed something sparkly about Naruko's eyes. "Whoa! What happened to your eyes?" he asked curiously. Naruko realized she hadn't turned off her Rinnegan, which she had planned to keep a secret. "It's not important," she said with a shrug. "No way, Naruko. You have to tell me," Sasuke insisted. Before she could respond, a calm voice interrupted them. Now, instead of bickering, maybe you two could try working together?" Kakashi said, stepping forward. He looked a little tired but cheerful, ready for more training fun. "Tiger, dragon, horse, dog, dragon, tiger." Kakashi performed a series of hand movements. "Katen, Moiru Nagare no Jutsu. Fire style, blazing stream." A brilliant, red-orange wave of magical fire rolled toward the two. It wasn't dangerous, it was more like a giant, fiery balloon trying to tag them. Naruko and Sasuke quickly leapt to the side, and just in time, 2 colorful figures, one pink and red and the other blue and purple, zoomed in like playful whirlwinds, sweeping them safely away. Kakashi laughed and settled down with his book, while Anko appeared nearby, shaking her head with a small smile. "How did Hinata and Sakura do?" Kakashi asked, not looking up. "Pinky bounced into a tree after trying to tag me," Anko said. "She needs a little more practice, but she's enthusiastic." "And Hinata?" "She actually blocked Pinky a few times and even gave up a chance at the bell to help her friend. I think she really understood the point of this exercise," Anko said. Kakashi smirked under his mask. "We'll see. There's only an hour and a half left." Naruko and Sasuke looked at each other thoughtfully. Hinata stepped forward. "The whole point of the test isn't about winning," she said kindly. "It's about teamwork. No one can do everything alone. We have to help each other." Naruko and Sasuke nodded, understanding at last. Together, they formed a plan. Kakashi and Anko were ready, but before they could react, the forest erupted with colorful blasts of training magic. Naruko and her friends sprang into action, gently tagging their teachers with soft, playful touches. Sakura tapped Anko with a gentle punch on the shoulder, Sasuke gave a careful nudge to Kakashi, and Hinata darted in to tag them with her soft palm strikes. Anko tried to summon her snakes, but Hinata and the others cleverly dodged and redirected them using their teamwork. Naruko activated her Rinnegan just a little, using Banshu Tenin to guide Kakashi and Anko closer for a fun group tag. Finally, all the Genin landed safely, laughing and catching their breath. Kakashi clapped his hands. Wonderful. You all passed the test. You remembered the most important thing, teamwork. And remember, those who abandon their friends are missing out on the most fun adventures. Anko twirled her kunai and vanished in a swirl of leaves. Training starts tomorrow, bright and early. Naruko rushed to help Hinata, carefully wrapping a bandage around her shoulder. Sakura and Sasuke checked on each other, and the team laughed together, excited for the next day's adventure. Sasuke then turned to Naruko with curiosity. By the way, what happened to your eyes before? Naruko smiled, keeping her little secret for now. It's just part of my training, she said, with a twinkle in her Rinnegan eyes. But I promise, one day you'll see it all in action. The friends all laughed, ready to grow stronger together, learning that the greatest power wasn't magic or techniques, it was the joy of working as a team. Since we were on a team, Naruko whispered, I'll tell you something only the Hokage knows. He said I have a bloodline that hasn't been seen in centuries. It's the original Kekkei Genkai, the Rinnegan, once wielded by the legendary Rikadu Sannin. She blinked, then activated her eyes. A soft, swirling pattern appeared, shimmering like tiny stars. Her teammates gasped. Sakura's eyes widened so much she nearly fainted, and Sasuke froze, staring at Naruko with a mix of awe and curiosity. Carefully, Naruko picked up Hinata in her arms, holding her gently bridal style, and they left together. Sasuke watched them leave, a storm of thoughts forming in his mind. That power. It should be mine someday. I'll train hard and become stronger. But for now, just stay out of my way. He muttered quietly, before taking a bento box and leaving. Sakura eventually woke, picked up her own lunch, and walked off too, still wondering what adventures tomorrow would bring for their team. Naruko and Hinata awoke early at 4 a.m. to get ready. They showered, dressed in their uniforms, and had a hearty breakfast. By 5:30, they were on their way to Training Ground 7. On the way, they ran into Kurenai and her Genin team. Hinata waved politely, and Naruko gave a cheerful greeting. Good morning, Kurenai-sensei, Murasaki-san, Kiba-san, Shino-san, Hinata said. Good morning, Hinata-chan, Naruko-san. What are you two up to today? Kurenai asked. We're heading to our team meeting, Hinata replied. Kurenai noticed how close Naruko and Hinata were. While she didn't mind the friendship, she cared deeply for Hinata, almost like a guardian. She bent down and whispered gently to Naruko, I see you two are close, which is good. But remember, if you ever hurt Hinata, I have a special little surprise for you. Naruko tilted her head, trying not to giggle. Kurenai's special surprise was just a playful warning, but Naruko understood. At the same time, Neji and Ten shivered a little at the strange intensity of the moment. Did you feel that? Ten asked. Yes, Neji replied, nodding seriously. Someone has been warned with unusual force. Let's hope it remains a lesson and nothing more. Meanwhile, Naruko nodded to Kurenai, feeling a tiny flutter of nervousness but also a lot of determination. She would never hurt Hinata, no matter what. The group continued chatting. Kiba and Naruko exchanged friendly challenges to see who could improve faster. Shino and Kurenai mostly observed quietly. Murasaki spoke with Hinata about discovering her nature affinity, suggesting she ask their senseis for guidance. When Naruko and Hinata arrived at the training grounds at 7 o'clock, a sparkling lake greeted them. They decided to practice water walking before anyone else arrived. Hinata picked it up quickly, her gentle movements graceful and calm. Naruko struggled at first but improved fast with the help of her clever Cage Bunshine clones. Afterward, they practiced their weapon skills. Naruko swung her katana carefully, imagining it slicing through clouds, while Hinata twirled her sei with precision, each move flowing with her gentle fist style. Soon, Sasuke and Sakura arrived. Sasuke stretched quietly, brooding as usual, while Sakura admired him from the sidelines. Kakashi and Anko appeared in a swirl of leaves. Sorry we're late. We helped some villagers with their packages, Kakashi said with a grin. The team ignored the excuse and prepared for training. Today, we'll test your skills individually to see where you can improve, Kakashi explained. Sakura, you're up first, against Anko. Sakura nodded eagerly, adopting her Academy Taijutsu stance. Anko grinned mischievously, settling into her Hebekin stance. Everyone stepped aside to watch, excitement buzzing in the morning air. Ready? Kakashi asked. The two fighters nodded. Hajime, Kakashi called, and the training began. Sakura ran toward Anko and playfully tried to tag her with her hands. Anko easily dodged each attempt, giggling as she leapt back and pulled out a scroll. With a swirl of colorful smoke, out popped a bottle of sweet juice and a stick of dengo. Anko began nibbling and sipping happily while everyone else watched in awe. Sakura, determined to win their friendly game, tried again, darting forward with a flurry of gentle taps and playful kicks. Anko dodged them effortlessly, twirling and laughing as if she were dancing. On one last try, Sakura accidentally sent the dengo stick flying. It tumbled across the training grounds. Kakashi watched the scene, eyes wide. Everyone knew how much Anko loved her dengo, it was her absolute favorite treat. If someone accidentally knocked it away, it would lead to a very dramatic reaction indeed. In a distant village, a pale man with long black hair and bright eyes gasped in shock as he imagined the chaos. Someone has dared to disturb Anko's dengo, he muttered, shaking with worry. They must be very brave. Or very silly. Back at the training grounds, Anko's face shifted from surprise to a playful, dramatic frown that made Sakura stop in her tracks. Her eyes sparkled with mischievous energy, and she gave a wide, teasing grin. You touched my dengo? Anko said slowly, pointing at the stick on the grass. Then it's time for a challenge. She raised her hands and a bunch of colorful, harmless smoke snakes floated out of her sleeves, twisting and twirling in the air. Sakura did what any sensible friend would do, she laughed and sprinted around, dodging the smoke snakes as they gently puffed past her. Kakashi called an end after a few minutes, chuckling. Okay, you win, Anko, Kakashi said. Anko nodded, still giggling, then looked at Sakura with a twinkle in her eye. Alright, Sakura, a few tips, Anko said. 1. Try adding some fun moves to your game, 2. Practice your spins and jumps, and 3. Stop being a useless fangirl, Anko shouted dramatically. Everyone gasped, except Sakura, who puffed up her cheeks in mock offense. I am not a fangirl. My admiration is totally sincere, she replied, waving her hands around, completely serious in her own way. Kakashi clapped his hands. Okay, next up is Sasuke, he said. Sasuke stepped forward, standing ready, while Anko assumed her playful stance. The two dashed toward each other, tagging and dodging with flips, twirls, and spins. Sasuke tried a special move where he blew colorful bubbles from his mouth, and Anko leapt over them in a dazzling backbend. Then Sasuke attempted an even bigger move, a bright, sparkling balloon that floated toward Anko. Anko grinned and placed her hands on the ground, summoning a large, magical gate that gently stopped the balloon. It wobbled for a moment and then floated harmlessly to the side. Wonderful, Sasuke. You've got a lot of fun moves, but remember to keep practicing new tricks and have fun with them, Kakashi said. My moves are perfect already, Sasuke said, puffing out her chest, but everyone laughed. And Kakashi will have to help you work on your confidence, Anko teased. Sasuke blushed but smiled. Next up is Hinata. Kakashi called. Hinata nodded nervously, and Naruko cheered her on from the side, clapping excitedly. The day continued with laughter, playful competitions, and lots of dengo sharing. By the end, everyone agreed that friendship, fun, and a little mischief were the best kind of training anyone could have. Hinata stood before Anko, her eyes focused and calm, as she prepared herself in her Juho stance. Her Byakugan gently glowed, sensing every movement in the training field. Anko smiled mischievously and took her own stance, ready to spar, but this was a friendly match, meant for learning and fun. Anko tried to gently tap Hinata on the arm, but Hinata spun around gracefully, moving like a leaf in the wind. She tapped 3 points on Anko's arm, not to hurt her, just to show precision, and Anko giggled as she stumbled lightly, laughing when Hinata guided her carefully to steady herself. Good job, Hinata. You're learning so fast, Kakashi called, watching the two friends with a proud smile. Just keep practicing your moves, and Anko can help guide you. Hinata nodded, letting Anko catch her balance. Thanks, Anko. Now I'm ready to watch Naruko, she said. Anko waved and stepped aside. Naruko stepped onto the training field, her bright eyes sparkling with excitement. Kakashi calmly opened his Icha Paradise book, pretending to be absorbed, which made Anko lean over and whisper a little plan in Naruko's ear. Naruko nodded, a grin spreading across her face. She took her Kitsuneken stance and, with a swift motion, created 30 playful shadow clones. They bounced around the field like little dandelion seeds in the wind. Kakashi lightly dodged their movements while still pretending to read, and everyone laughed at the lively display. Then, Naruko lifted her hands, and a gentle swirl of chakra formed a glowing star of soft whitish blue light. She tossed it carefully, and it separated into 5 little stars that floated gently in the air before settling softly around Kakashi's legs and arms. He laughed, startled but unhurt, as Naruko used her clever control of chakra to playfully lift and move objects. Hinata's Byakugan glimmered with curiosity. She could see that Naruko was using chakra to make things feel heavier or lighter, like magic. Wow! She can control gravity a little with her chakra, Hinata whispered to herself, impressed. Naruko's clever tricks continued as she gently pulled Kakashi closer with a playful Banshu Tenon motion, only to stop when he almost bumped into her sword. Everyone clapped and cheered at her creativity, amazed at her skill and playful cleverness. Great work, Naruko, Kakashi said, smiling under his mask. You're full of talent, and with practice, you'll be even more amazing. And Hinata, I can see you've learned a lot today too. The rest of the afternoon was filled with laughter, learning, and friendship. Sakura giggled at Anko's playful coaching, while Sasuke stood nearby, trying not to smile but secretly enjoying the fun. Everyone practiced their movements, their jutsu, and their teamwork, learning that the most important part of training was helping each other grow and having fun along the way. Finally, Kakashi gathered the team. Tomorrow, we'll go on a mission, but it's a simple one, helping a little lost pet find its way home. I think everyone is ready for this adventure. Naruko jumped up excitedly. I'll make sure we do it perfectly, she said, full of determination and joy. Hinata smiled at her friend, and the team walked together toward the Hokage's office, ready for a gentle, happy adventure where courage, friendship, and cleverness were the greatest powers of all. Time skipped to the forest. Sakura hid behind a tall tree, speaking quietly into her radio. This is Pink Harpy. Oh, I can't believe how tricky you are, Anko-sensei. I see no sign of the target, over. This is Fox Princess. I see the target about 20 meters away, over, Naruko replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she scanned the forest floor. This is Raven Princess. I see the target about 23 meters from me. It's only 10 meters from you, Fox Princess, Hinata said softly, trying not to giggle at Naruko's enthusiastic movements. This is Shadow Scout. I'm the closest to the target. May I approach to capture it? Sasuke asked, peering through the branches. Okay, this is Sensei Kakashi. Permission granted. Go ahead now. Kakashi's calm voice crackled over the radio. Sasuke leapt toward the target, a small, mischievous cat with a bright red bow on its ear, but the cat was clever. It wriggled free and darted away, landing unexpectedly in Hinata's arms. The cat purred and nuzzled her, and Hinata was surprised to discover that the little creature liked her immediately. Oddly enough, it even gave a tiny nod toward Naruko, as if recognizing her animal path powers. Hinata carefully took a few tufts of the cat's fur to examine later, curious about Naruko's mysterious abilities. Sensei, Hinata has the target. The red bow on its ear confirms it's definitely Tora, Naruko said over the radio, smiling proudly. This is Snake Queen. Well done, everyone. Mission accomplished. Let's report back to Hokage-sama for our reward, Anko said cheerfully. The team brought Tora to a large, kind-looking woman dressed in elegant clothing. She scooped the cat up and hugged it tightly, almost like she was trying to hug the tiny creature into the clouds. Sasuke smirked, and everyone thought the same thing. No wonder the cat ran off, it clearly had a mind of its own. After receiving their rewards, the team left the Hokage's office feeling happy and relieved that they wouldn't have to chase Tora again. At least for now. Naruko couldn't stop grinning, thinking of how clever and spirited the little cat was, and how much fun their forest adventure had been. Dear YouTube family. This is all for now. If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world. Thank you. Regards. Anime Octopus.